Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up, my G.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How in the world are you? This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, your host with the most, here, doing it up, once again, for the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, all for you guys, and it's great to be here in the booth and making an episode. I'm very happy. And it's a real nice day today. I mean, it's a little bit humid and it's getting hot, but overall, it's not bad. We're inside the Asian Sensation Studios, inside of our beta room, right here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And, you know, I just woke up this morning telling myself I have to make another episode because this one, you know, for a lot of reasons, and the stuff that I'm going to be talking about with the type of content and subject matter, it was really important for me, you know, because I just woke up and I just said to myself, while I still have these thoughts in my mind, it is best to go ahead and to take care of that situation and to go ahead and to really knock out this episode before I forget, before, you know, things, you know, are not exactly where it should be, you know, because if it is exactly where it should be, then I should be recording it and I should actually be putting it on wax, if you will, as the old folks would say. So, yeah, you know, I'm here. We're, you know, mic'd up here, as, you know, you can tell, you know, I'm right there, and the mic's here in the booth. Hector is not here today, so he's not getting paid. It's his day off, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, you know, I'm just glad to be here, to be with you, and I'm just excited. I'm giddy. So, right now I'm just sitting on the chair, nursing the injury of my ankle. It hasn't been healed 100% yet, but, you know, I'm icing it with an ice pack. I've been taking a lot of Motrin. I've been doing my best to kind of do, like, flexive exercises where I'm flexing my foot like down and up, and rotating it like clockwise and then counterclockwise and so forth. And so far, I would say that it is helping to a degree, and I think it's good. But my God, it is true what they say. It's like, you know, the older you get, you know, the slower that your body heals. And I'm not trying to say that to be disrespectful to anybody that, you know, is older than age, but, you know, it's just a reality that we face. You know, when we're younger, when we get injured, we can probably shake that off very easily, and it's awesome, you know, and we probably would heal from said injury within a day or two, depending on the severity of the injury. But, yeah, you know, as you get older, man, it takes a long time to recover. So, am I a little bit disappointed that I'm not recovering as quickly as I used to? Yes, I am, for sure. But, am I just grateful for the fact that I'm kind of healing bit by bit? Absolutely. You just have to really thank your lucky stars and, you know, count your blessings that, you know, you're still in the race. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and start this episode. You know, it's really weird, but, you know, we just were removed, depending on when you're hearing this, but we're just about one day removed from the WWE's Money in the Bank event. And although it was a very good event and there was a lot of great things that were going on, the big news that shocked the world and really rattled the cages was 16-time world champion and actor John Cena, the man who goes by a lot of monikers, the Doctor of Thugonomics, you know what I mean, the leader of the C Nation, you know what I mean, has announced yesterday live in the Money in the Bank event, with the sellout crowd in Toronto, Canada, that he would be retiring from professional wrestling come time in 2025. In the next year, he will do a couple of more events, a couple of more major WWE events, and he's going to basically call it quits for good. That's it. He's done. Which to me, I felt like I was surprised because, he is 47 years old. So, physically, in some respects, he could really go, if he really wanted to. Because, if you had somebody as old as Ric Flair that kept on wrestling until his, 70s, I'm pretty sure John Cena could too, if he really wanted to. But, he in some instances, I was surprised, and in some instances, I was not surprised. And I'm just going by this logic. I'm surprised that he, decided to make the announcement yesterday like everybody else, because once again, going to the age factor of being 47, he's still quite young in the game, where he can still go if he wanted to, physically speaking. I mean, the man is in tip-top shape. He's incredible. He's got a great physique. He's been wrestling for a long time. So, he's very seasoned and he knows what it takes and so forth. And everything that he does with his wrestling, the physicality of it, it's incredible. What he does in the ring, storytelling, with the plots and everything, and the angles that goes on, to even cutting a promo. I thought that John was pretty good. I mean, yeah, he's not like a wrestler's wrestler where he had like an amateur background or something, but that and I feel like that's to be continued for another episode. But I thought that in terms of sports entertainment, doing the thing and everything that he needed to do to make the fans happy, he fulfilled that. And I felt like, wow, you're retiring this early in the game for you. That's wild. But at the other side of the coin, I feel like I'm not surprised. Because number one, John Cena now is an actor. He acts in, Hollywood films and Hollywood projects, all over. And I think that number one, being an actor, obviously you have to sacrifice a little bit of your time. You have to kind of put yourself in a situation where, do I want to go ahead and do wrestling in the WWE, or do I want to go ahead and chase my dream of being an actor? Which, John did. He put his emphasis and his concentration and focus into being an actor. And although he did part-time try to come back and do a couple events for the fans and everything like that, I think that the acting life and being in that industry took over a lot more, and I get that. Number two, going back to what I was saying about his age, at age 47, I mean, he's been doing this for about like 20 years, you know what I mean? And he's been putting his body on the line for us, just for our amusement and our entertainment. And I tell you, like I said before on a previous episode, that although pro wrestling is predetermined, the stuff that you go through physically is absolutely real. And the moves, when you do like a slam, or you do like a hip toss or something like that, your body goes through the ringer. You know what I mean? You're definitely going to feel a lot of pain. You're definitely going to feel like, a lot of bruising and so forth. I mean, there's really a no-win situation in that point, because the ring, when you get in that 20 by 20 ring, when you stand in the ring, what's underneath the mat, the sheets, is a bunch of like 2x4 plywoods. You know what I mean? And when you get slammed on that hurts. That really hurts. You can't fake that. You really can't, especially with like those chair shots and all that stuff. You can't fake that. And he's been doing that for 20 years, going through different types of pain, getting slammed on the floor, and going through a lot of matches that are just completely insane, from a steel cage match, to Hell in the Cell, from a Punjabi prison match. He's done it all. You know what I mean? I Quit matches, strap matches. I mean, man, John Cena has really, really put his body on the line for us in our entertainment. And like I said before, when you're young in age, obviously your body's going to heal a little bit more quickly. But, years down the road and so forth, I mean, your body can only handle but so much. And it can only heal at now a slower rate. And this man's gone through a lot. He's gone through, a lot of injuries, shoulder injuries, and elbow injury. I think there was an injury where, it was like a pectoral, tear kind of a thing. Wow. I mean, my man's gone through a lot. And it's really, really insane how he goes through so much injury, and yet he wants to come back simply for the fact that he loves it. He loves wrestling. He loves sports entertainment. He loves being a WWE superstar. And, with what he's done in his 20-year career in the WWE, you really, at that point, you don't have that much to prove anymore. I mean, listen to the accolades here. A 13-time WWE champion. When it was divided with the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship, he became World Heavyweight Champion 3 times. WWE US Champion 5 times. WWE Tag Team Champion with The Miz and David Otunga, 2 times. World Tag Team Champion 2 times with Batista and Shawn Michaels. Money in the Bank winner in 2012. 2-time Royal Rumble winner in 2008 and 2013. This man has literally done everything and anything in his career, when it comes to being in the WWE. Now, some people might, be a little technical and say, well, dude didn't win the Intercontinental Championship. Well, okay, but, winning, the titles like he did and the accolades that he has, and really putting, that much of an effort to put wrestling on the mat, physically and emotionally. I mean, I feel like that kind of outweighs not being an Intercontinental Champion. Is he a Hall of Famer for the WWE? I think he's going to be a future WWE Hall of Famer. Absolutely. But yeah, with all the memories and so forth of John Cena, has created for us, and now we're in the present moment in time that he made the announcement of retirement. I feel like in the end, good for him. You didn't need to do anything else. You got nothing else more to prove. You did everything humanly possible within your 20-year career, which is very impressive. Some people in World Wrestling Entertainment don't even achieve those same accolades as much as John Cena has. So I feel like, dude, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, if you want to ride into the sunset, that's your choice. And the only thing that we as a fan can do is say, number one, thank you for everything that you've done, for the industry and for our entertainment. And, number two, I think also, which is quite as important, is just, give the support. Give as much as support as possible to you for whatever it is that you want to do post WWE wrestling career, which most likely is going to be with acting, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? I think that he's going to be involved in some way with the WWE to an extent, whether or not if it's going to be like the same thing like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, where he might be an officer with TKO and still make, even more money with the industry that he loves and that he's passionate about. Now, I'm not saying that is going to happen because I don't know. That is speculation. But if you asked me, what my opinion is, then I would say yes. Number one, he definitely will go back into acting because, he's really deep into that. But most importantly, number two, that he actually might become an officer with TKO, which runs the WWE. Just like how Dwayne Johnson did. And, I think that was really smart on Dwayne's part. And I know that I'll touch that on a future episode where he partnered up with TKO. He became like an officer of the company. And he's set for life, if he wasn't before. Because when you invest in that type of situation and you're doing that type of thing, the money's going to be flowing. So, Dwayne Johnson's got paper. You know what I mean? And same thing with John Cena. He's got paper, but if he decided to become like an officer with TKO and invest in that way, I think that, he'll even have more paper. You know what I mean? Like, he won't go broke. He will not go broke. I could tell you that right now. John Cena will not go broke at all, And I think that after 20 years, of wrestling in the WWE, having that being your main career, excuse me, I feel like you have the right to call the shots of what you want. If you want to ride out into the sunset, you can ride out to the sunset. You've done so much in your life, in your career, for the company that you worked for 20 years. I mean, damn, like, give that man his due. Let him do what he do. And I think it's incredible. And I know at a future moment in time, I may want to invite some people and I want to have like a forum of, talking about John Cena on the podcast show and just get, reactions, having discussions and all that stuff. I really would like that to happen. Whether or not if it will, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, I have the idea for it, and I think there might be some people that are wrestling fans that are willing to talk about this and to really just, chat it up, have a good time, and just, say what they want to say and express their opinions about the John Cena retirement and, him as a person and as a wrestler and, what they think is going to happen with him, in the future. So, yeah. I'm just happy, I'm just really happy for him, and I think it's great. And, if there was ever a moment to ride in the sunset, like, like he's doing right now, yeah, it's definitely cool. It's definitely cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. That was a good segue. That was a good first segment. I'm really happy about it. But right now, we are going to take a little bit of a break. We will come right back. We will go into another segment. I'm very excited about it. So guys, do what you got to do. Take a little break, but come right back because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is here in full effect, ready to go. We're going to be doing great things here. You don't want to miss out. So stay tuned, guys, because we're coming back and it's going to be awesome. All right, we'll see you guys in a bit. Ever wanted to make a podcast but didn't know how to do it or where to go? Does the idea of pursuing podcasting sounds great, but you're afraid of the expenses that you have to invest in? Then look no further than Spotify for Podcasters. They have the tools that you need to create the perfect podcast episode that you want, whether if you want to create it in an audio and or video podcasting form. To those that already podcast, Spotify for Podcasters can help you upload your already completed audio/video podcasts to all of the podcasting platforms that you have a membership to. And the best part is that this is 100% free. No hidden costs, no monthly fees, because you don't have to give them your credit card information, and because Spotify for Podcasters want to help by giving back to everybody. So check them out at podcasters.spotify.com and download their app for free on the Google Play Store and or the Apple App Store. Spotify for Podcasters.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We are glad that you're back from our little intermission, our break, and it's been really good. And I want to give you a little bit of an exclusive here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. This is something that I probably had mentioned a couple of times. So if you guys actually already heard about the information, hey, you're ahead of the game, right? But if this is your first time hearing it and you never know anything about this kind of stuff, well, congratulations. We're going to go ahead and give you some information. So you're getting a little bit of an inside track, the inside scoop, if you will, of what happens in a podcast show, especially my podcast, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, which is the following. And it's basically when we cut to a break, when we go to a commercial, we have a lot of time in our hands. We actually like to utilize that time for a lot of reasons, because sometimes we are a little bit exhausted, not only physically, but also mentally. And the certain things that we would like to do is just basically the following. Sometimes we like to go over and get a glass of water and just drink it and just kind of recuperate, breathe in and breathe out, because that's our way of collecting our energy. That's our way of refueling. Because when you go ahead and you do podcasts, you tend to talk a lot. And sometimes it's very lengthy, even for a short amount of time. So in a sense, it's kind of like you're getting like a free cardio workout, but without the actual moving of the body. It's just like, lung work and air capacity and so forth. So we just like to go ahead and take our time to sit down, relax, maybe get something to eat, get something to drink, and just sit down and relax and just, and recuperate until it's time to go back over to the booth to record again. Other times, and this has also happened as well, I also like to take a look at my script. And I like to take a look at, where I'm at, when it comes to the structure of the script. And, I review what will actually happen next in the recorded segment. And then, it depends on certain people and certain shows. If you're working with the co-host, you may want to go ahead and practice, the dialogue here and there. You might want to discuss about, what you're going to do with your co-host. And then you might practice a little bit, get a little bit of a rehearsal time, really see what's going on there. And if it works out, where you have a solid plan, well, there you go. It's awesome. For me, it's a little bit harder because I am an army of one and I have to work by myself. So sometimes I do have to practice alone, out loud, and, just kind of figure it out. And, hopefully that what I do and what I come up with will be good. because I do want people to be very, very happy, very proud of what I do, and I want them to say, that Kim really did a good job. So, if that, not for nothing, perfection for me, I mean, even though it's not as important, and I feel like whatever happens, the show must go on, I always want to put my best foot forward, and I always try to strive for the perfection, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and jump on to the next segment, and it's something that I've mentioned before, and I'm really happy about it. I'm really proud about it, and there's been a little bit more of a change, some updates, and we're going to go ahead and get into that. As many people know, I'm going to be involved in a film project slated to film in the month of August, around late August, where I am going to be involved in a fan film of Fatal Fury, the fan film movie, which is based out of the Fatal Fury video game that was released back in the 1990s, probably like the late 90s. It was a release from a video game company called SNK and then distributed by Neo Geo. And it's a real awesome opportunity. I got hired from the director, Adam Vaughn, who's based out of Baltimore, Maryland, who's also working in conjunction with Charm City filmmakers to make this movie a reality. And I initially got in, as an actor for a role of a villain called Raiden. Now, let me give you a little bit of a history, a plot of what's going on. Now, it all encompasses over two brothers, Andy and Terry Bogard, who are the heroes of the video game. And along with their friend Joe Higashi, who is a Muay Thai kickboxing fighter, they enter in a tournament that's held by Geese Howard, who is the big villain, the bad guy, who years ago fought Andy and Terry's father. And, unfortunately, after that fight, killed Andy and Terry's father. So now the Bogard brothers are thinking, we have to enter this competition because we want to not only prove that we are the king of the fighters, but we want to avenge our father's death. Rightfully so. So we get that. You jump in now with Raiden, who is a professional wrestler who basically is under the payroll of Geese Howard. So, basically whatever Geese wants, if he needs it done, he needs it done. No questions asked. And, Raiden is one of the guys that's like, okay, I'll get it done. And I was really looking forward to portraying this role. I was really looking forward to, do the fight scenes because we were going to incorporate a lot of pro wrestling moves. And I was really developing my my character for Raiden. Like, the character development is very important, and I had an idea of where I was going with. I was really studying my script and everything. And then later on, I found out that I got reassigned and I would no longer be Raiden in the movie. But, where one opportunity ends, I do believe that another one arises. And that is true because I got reassigned into a great role of Cheng Sinzan, who was featured in Fatal Fury Part 2. And his backstory is that he is a martial arts student of Tung Fu Rue, who also taught the Bogards, Andy and Terry and their father, who also coached Geese Howard, believe it or not. So, Cheng Sinzan is a martial artist. He's learned under Tung Fu Rue a little bit, so he knows the arts of Kung Fu and Tai Chi. But Cheng is a shrewd businessman. He's all about the cash. He's all about the money. If the money's on the wood, he will do anything and everything for the money. Whether if it's, fighting a person that, he normally wouldn't fight, or, making bets and gambling and so forth. He's all about it. He is a shrewd businessman. So his loyalties, it's kind of questionable because it's like, I'm not really with the good guys. I'm not really with the bad guys. I'm where, I'm with the money. Where's the green? Where's the cheese? Where's that cash? The dough, you know what I mean? If you show me all that cash money, then I'll be your best friend. Ching now, though, outside of that, though, he does have a heart of gold, and his heart usually is in the right place. But it's all about the money for him. Anything and everything that he wants to do with the money, yeah, for sure. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, Kim, are you really disappointed that you're no longer going to be Raiden? Well, yeah, of course I am, because I really invested a lot of time, and, I was working as much as the rehearsals I possibly could to go ahead and get the fight choreography down and to work on his dialogue, because I had a certain vision for him. But, again, this is a great opportunity. I love the fact that I'm going to be Ching Sinzan. He's actually perfect for me because, Ching is a very big heavyweight fighter. I'm a big heavyweight kind of dude. We're both martial artists. I think the only challenge is that because Ching is more versed in Kung Fu and Tai Chi, he's a little bit more of a soft stylist, you know what I mean? And I come from a hard style of, the Muay Kwan style of Taekwondo, being a 3rd degree black belt. But I think in the case of, movie situations and movie combat, as long as you can kick and you can punch, I think it's going to be okay. And a lot of questions come into play. Is like, number one, how's Ching going to be involved? What kind of role will he have? Will he have a speaking role? Is he going to side with the Bogarts? Is he going to side with Geese Howard? And I don't know. And let alone the fact that, will he have a fight scene? I don't know. How's that going to work out? Again, I don't know. Now, if you asked me my opinion of what I think is going to happen, I do think that Ching will side with the Bogarts. I think that as much as money as he loves, and he loves to have it, and he loves to make it, I think Ching knows right from wrong, and I think that he knows that, with what Geese Howard did was wrong. And there's no price point for that. So he would side with the Bogart brothers. Would there be a fight scene? Probably so. And he would probably use his size and his martial arts experience to win, by any means necessary. Mixing up different blends of martial arts that makes it, work for him. Because believe it or not, I kind of think of Ching Sinzan as more like the Sammo Hung kind of like deal. Where, he's a big-um. He really is. And he doesn't look like he can fight, but the brother can fight. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And I'm just really glad, and I'm very proud to, be a part of this production. And I'm very grateful for the fact that Adam and, Charm City Filmmakers and the casting officers said that, we want you here, and we want you to play this role instead, because we think it's a perfect fit. And, any place that I can be in to help out, I'm definitely going to help the team. Going forward, though, I'm really looking forward to working with all my fellow actors and martial artists, most that I've actually met through Miscalculated, which is a film that was directed by Romel Xavier Morales. Most of them were actually with that production. The other people that I probably worked with, a small percent of them, I worked with on Scrolls of Honor, which was a movie filmed and directed by Jimmy D. Nolte, who's also going to be in this film, helping out as a technical fight choreography advisor. And I can't wait. It's going to be amazing, and I pray that everybody will do well. That, all the stunt people and all the martial artists that have fight scenes, they will do their fight scenes very well with expert timing, precision, and that no one will get hurt, that everybody will operate in a safe manner and will be safe. For those that are acting, especially ones that are doing acting for the first time, that, you did very good on your character development, that you say your lines verbatim, word for word, and it turns out great. Because, for all of us in general, especially us first timers that are either doing stunts, fight scene, and or acting, it's a big deal. We're very invested in this, and we really want to see the project succeed in the biggest way possible. And we're really rooting for each other. You know what I mean? But at this point, time is cutting close. So it's like we really do need to keep our nose in the grindstone. We do need to go ahead and to do our very best to rehearse and to practice as much as we can, so that when it goes film time in August, in late August, we're ready to go and we're ready to do it. I'm excited. I know the cast members are excited, and I wish them well. I really wish them well in this situation, because we want to win as a team. We started as a team. We're going to finish as a team, and we want to succeed as a team. I believe that the team is only good as every person that is involved, and we need to show that everyone is good, and we need to uplift each other, where, maybe we're not at our strongest, that we'll be able to, help each other in a way that we can lift them and they will shine brighter than any star in the galaxy, in the solar system. And that's just a fact. Fatal Fury, the fan film, coming soon, but we'll be filming in late August. Can't wait. And as soon as I know more information about, anything, any specific details, I will let you know. I do know for a fact that they are looking for a couple of extras. And if you need to know more about that, specifically, they just need to know who can show up on certain days to play, fans in the crowd watching the fights. There will be, obviously, there's no fighting in this. You're just going to be yelling and screaming and chanting for your favorite fighter, and it's going to be awesome. And if you want to know more about that, you can contact me personally. And I'll drop my email on the description, so you can go ahead and contact me, and we can make that happen. But guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to come right back. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and do the greatest segment on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, the Q&A form, question and answer, 7 questions. You picked it out. You asked it. We're answering it, and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So you want to go ahead and take a quick break, but come right back, because when we come back, we're going to answer those questions, and it's going to be fun. So guys, go ahead and do what you need to do, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience will be coming back, and we will return in full effect. See you in a bit. In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com, or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Yes, we just got back from intermission, and it's been a good one. It's really been a good one. I'm really excited. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite segment and mine here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, the Q&A question and answer forum. I'm really excited. I don't know if you can hear it, but I do have a list, 7 questions that was given to me by Hector. He actually stopped over a little bit today, and he was like, hey, I forgot to give you these. And, what he didn't realize was, he basically just kind of emailed the questions to me. So I don't know why he would just come out on his day off and just just give me these questions handwritten. I mean, I appreciate it for sure, that just kind of frees up, my phone, and I don't have to read all the questions on, my Gmail that he wrote to me that he forgot that he wrote. But it's all good. We got the questions, and I'm excited because, these questions are pretty dope. And I look at these questions, not knowing what they were at first. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is really cool. I really want to, answer it now. I really want to get into the nitty gritty of it, because the fact of the matter is that when you give me good questions, it gets me very motivated to go ahead and answer it and do what I need to do. And as always, honestly, we thank so many people for interacting and giving us questions and giving us something to look forward to. And most importantly, we definitely appreciate the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody, has given us any questions that has to deal with politics and or religion. And again, I say it like a broken thumb and a sore thumb and a broken record. We just don't like answering those type of questions. You know what I mean? We really feel like it's a situation where, it just really brings out the worst in people, And I feel like with that situation, it can only cause more harm than it can with good, Don't get me wrong. I respect people a lot that actually do associate with religion and politics. But, this is just it's not that kind of a podcast, you know what I mean? So we rather just kind of, nix it. So, without any further delay, guys, the Q&A forum question and answer, my favorite segment, is ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and do it. 7 questions. Here we go. Kim, this is question number 1. Kim, why do you incorporate your Q&A session, and do you think it is well received? Star from Pueblo, Colorado. Star, good question. I think you're the first person that's really asked about that type of thing. I have many answers, I should say, to this very same question. I will try to simplify it as much as I can. Many episodes ago, we were doing a lot of episodes that were called 21 Questions. And we thought that it was a big hit. And a lot of people thought it was pretty interesting how I would just, answer random questions. And I was really cool with that. And I thought it was really great. And I just thought it would be a great idea to kind of implement that near the end of our podcast. I also thought it was good because of the fact that it kind of gives us a little bit of, a subject matter that we can fill in the end. Because I'd rather just do, these days, 2 subject matters, and then just end it with something a little bit more fun. And I like that. I really do. And I think it has been well received. And I think there are some things that, people didn't know about before that they know now because of the Q&A session. And I think because of the Q&A session, it actually helps to build more of a connection with my audience members because, it gives them a chance to interact. When you interact and you ask me the questions, I feel like we're developing a strong connection, a stronger connection. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like, it's an amazing situation. I love doing the Q&A session. It is very well received, and I don't foresee it going anywhere. I think we'll keep doing it. Obviously, when we have like live guests on our show, we won't do the Q&A session, or unless it's something else where I mentioned that we won't be able to do it. But you better believe when I'm doing like a solo, episode, and I'm doing my thing and I'm talking, we will do Q&As. So for sure. Question number 2, Kim, what are your thoughts on video games and comic books? Jamal from Hollywood, Florida. I'm sorry. Hollywood, Florida. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know where Hollywood, Florida is. That's kind of like near Miami, So, Jamal, I'll say this. I like video games and I like comic books. And I do believe that it's really cool because it definitely promotes the sense of imagination. I think that with video games, I think it's really cool because not only you have imagination, but you kind of develop a little bit of like, a lot of people will say that, you can develop like good thinking habits and strategies and so forth when you're playing video games. Also, it helps focus a little bit of taking yourself away from like pressures and anxiety and so forth. And the same thing I would say for comic books, and even more so, some people that are artists might be more motivated when they look at comic books and they see like all the designs and like the illustrations that were put into it, that they might be motivated to go ahead and try to do some of their own artwork and stuff like that in their own way, and more power to them. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say, well, too much comic books and too much video games is it's a little bit much. And I do agree on that. I do think that there is a time for everything, where like you do have to put like the reality, forward a little bit. And you do have to step away from the video games a little bit to do something else, like, just like something like walking around or hanging around with friends and doing stuff like that. But I don't really see any harm in video games and in comic books. I think it's amazing. And anybody else that says that they're, it's garbage or, it's terrible, I honestly think that they're lying to you. Like, I really think that they are just, they're just really super lying to you. And I think they're just trying to throw a little hate on comic books and video games. For me, I loved it as a kid. I love it as an adult. Would I still be reading comic books and playing video games? Yeah, absolutely. You bet your bottom dollar I would. So, for sure. Question number 3. Kim, I recently checked out the movie Miscalculated on Tubi. Number 1, you did a great job on that film. And number 2, do you think that there will be a Miscalculated Part 2 movie? Heather from Kentwood, Louisiana. Oh, crap. That is where Britney Spears is from. Well, first, I want to say thank you for supporting Miscalculated. That was a great film. Once again, I am forever grateful. Forever grateful to Ramel Xavier Morales, the director and one of the lead actors of that film, because he did give me a great chance and an opportunity. thank you for giving me, acknowledgement of, my role in the film, portraying Benny Chow. And I always say to people that if my acting is pretty cool and you find it to be like really great, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? I could always self-promote myself and say that I'm a very great actor, but, automatically, if you know me, I'm not that type of person, And number two, if it comes from another person, I feel like there's some great validity in what you said. Now, as far as is there going to be a miscalculated part 2? I don't know. Before you even asked that question, I think a lot of people were asking that question as well. And I don't really have any official information in regards to that. What I can say is this. One thing is for sure is nothing is for sure. Anything and everything can happen, And I think that if Rommel and, the miscalculated team think that they can do it again, like if they toy with the idea and they come up with the idea that they would do miscalculated part 2, if they have their mind set on it, and especially since it was well received with a lot of great popularity, I would say, yeah, why not? But again, I don't make those decisions, and I don't make. I'm not the person to really ask in terms of that. I'm just a person that was lucky enough to be in that production, and it was amazing. But if you want that to happen, I think you should make your voice be heard and, spread it out on social media. And real quick, for those that still haven't miscalculated, you can catch Miscalculated on Tubi. You can actually catch it on Amazon Prime Video. It's really a cool deal. If you want to buy it, you can actually buy it on Amazon Prime Video. It's only like $5, but it's really cool. I think it really helps out in terms of giving the film a lot of support. And then when you buy the film on Amazon Prime Video, all the proceeds go over to the production company, which helps fund for making great movie content like Miscalculated. So personally speaking, off the, I might as well say it's on the record, but I do hope that they do come up with a Miscalculated 2. I think it'd be awesome. But again, just speaking as a regular person and as like a fan, that's just the way that I feel. Whether or not if they'll do it, that is up to them. So there you go. Question number 4. Kim, I've been single for many years now, and I still haven't found a girl to go out with. Is there anything wrong with me? Richard from Montgomery, Alabama. Richard, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I honestly think that, if you being single for many years now, I truly believe it's because you haven't found the right person. Whether if you are a person that is trying to find relationship with a girl, that's cool. You're just single and you're trying to figure out the right woman for you. If you are a person that is looking for a guy and you haven't found Mr. Right yet, that's okay too. You know what I mean? Again, going back to what I said, you just haven't found the right person. Or maybe right now you're just in a point in your life that you just, you have some standards and you're trying to find, that right companionship. And you don't want to rush into things, which I understand, because a lot of people do rush into relationships, but they don't really read the fine print. And there's definitely a lot that's going on there. So, no, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're still single, for this time, just take your time. I'd rather for people to take their time to actually find companionship and to find the one rather than rushing into it and then turning into a real bad situation. So There it is. Question number 5. Kim, my friends have been making fun of me because I'm still a virgin at 30 years old. Am I wrong for waiting? Amanda from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. All right, our brothers and sisters from way up north. Amanda, I'm going to say this. I don't think so. I think that when you are a virgin, that is your own independent choice for whatever reason. Whether if you're doing it for spiritual reasons, whether if you feel like you're not ready, or, there's a slight hesitation where you're just trying to find the one, whatever it may be, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's totally fine. Some people want to actually wait for, the other person and get married and just finally consummate everything by doing it like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If for anything, I applaud you for that, because you're not really being wild and just, you're not trying to do all these things to put yourself in danger. And that's probably the best way to stay, and I hate to say it like this, but to be safe on a health level. So that way it's like, you're practicing abstinence and you're being healthy because you're not engaging in said activities. So, I'm with you on that, Amanda. It's totally fine. I support you either way. If your so-called friends or people who make fun of you for that, if they are your friends, they're probably not friends in the first place. I think that real friends will support you for what it is. And if it's people that make fun of you that are not friends, you know what? You can live with yourself knowing that you are 100% safe, that you made a conscious decision, and you're just basically acting on a decision that's right for you at this point in time of your life. So no harm, no foul. Go ahead, sister. Question number 6. Kim, what are your thoughts on the training device called the Century Bob? Is it really solid, and is it worth the investment? Peter from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. What? That's an actual town? Sorry, guys. I'm just a little bit frazzled by this one, because when I hear Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, I go back to my pro wrestling days, and I remember the wrestler Cactus Jack, now known as Mick Foley. That was one of his personalities, one of the faces of Foley. And Cactus Jack was from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, that really didn't have any care in the world for his body. He just wanted to beat you up and get the job done. So when I heard Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, right here, right now, I was like, okay, all right, okay. But to answer your question, Peter, yes, I have myself a Century Bob, and it is amazing. And yes, it is worth the investment. I love using it as much as I can, and it's really good because it's the one training equipment, one training device that I use where the punching bag is not only on an actual stand, but the actual bag itself is shaped and molded to look like a human being. And it's really cool that way, because then I can actually imagine that person is an actual person maybe that I'm just disliking, or I can just have a visualization of okay, this is the person here that's trying to harm me, so I can actually focus on certain physical points. And I think it's cool. I think it's amazing. A lot of people use it all the time for, things like cardio kickboxing, or just regular boxing training, or even just martial arts training on kicks and so forth. And it's amazing. And I think everybody should get one. I think it's incredible. Real quick, if you do want to go ahead and get a Century Bob, just go over and order one from Century Martial Arts. www.centurymartialarts.com. That's right, centurymartialarts.com. That's right, I said it. I put their website out there, and this is what you can do. If you order a Century Bob, whether if it's like a regular standard Century Bob or Century Bob XL, or even like the little Bob for the kids, Bob the Bully or whatever, you can actually get 15% off. And if you use the code FALCO15, that's FALCO15, then you will get 15% off. This is actually martial artist and stuntman Emilian DeFalco's personal code, and he offers this out to everybody who wants to go ahead and get any type of equipment and uniform for a very good discount of 15% off. He's a real good guy, a great martial artist. He wants to give that back to the community. So if you use his code FALCO15, that's FALCO and the numbers 15, you will save 15% off. Just make sure that you enter in that code before you finalize the sale. There'll be a section over in when you buy the stuff, like, enter discount code, enter that in, you'll save yourself an extra 15%. Last but not least, we have question number 7. Kim, I'm thinking about getting my very first tattoo, but I'm uncertain. Any advice? Rachel from Henderson, Nevada. Okay. All right. Rachel, if you're really uncertain or if you have doubts, that's probably your indication of letting us know, at least, that, maybe that this idea of getting a tattoo is really not for you and you have to wait. Now, if it's a thing about that, you want to get your very first tattoo, but you don't know what design that you want to get, that's a different story and a different type of situation where you just have to think about what kind of art are you into, and what really speaks to you. You don't want to pick things blindly, and you don't want to just get something that it's good now and then 20 years down the lifetime, it doesn't have any meaning for you anymore. I've known people to get tattoos where they got a tattoo, and at the time it was a great idea, but in hindsight it was really bad. That was the worst idea ever. So you got to think about things that mean a lot to you personally, and that you can imagine that you will have this particular piece of work on you for the rest of your life. I'll say a couple of no-nos. Don't get anybody's name, like a girl, unless she's your daughter or maybe your mom. I would say don't get any girl's name, don't get any other guy's name unless it's your dad or your son, that sort of thing. Don't get tribal. I think that tribal from the 90s, I think that's a bad idea. I think it looked cool at the time for what it was in the 90s, but don't get tribal. And if you're going to get a tattoo, make sure that you go to a professional place, like an actual tattoo shop. Don't go over to your friends that claim that they know how to do things, and next thing you know, it's just a real messed up tattoo that looks like a scratcher did it. You don't want to be that person. Go to a professional that really does know what they're doing. Just pick the right tattoo artist that works well for you. Make sure that you see the books, their portfolio, if you will, and then just go from there. Just remember, cheap tattoos aren't good, and good tattoos aren't cheap. And if you're willing to invest that way, then you're good to go. So I hope that helps out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is all she wrote. 7 questions for the Q&A, and it has been fun. I want to give a friendly reminder to everybody that recently we started to initiate where you guys can voluntarily donate to our podcast to help raise funds so that we can improve the quality of our podcast. And everything that we raise, all the proceeds will go directly to our podcast show. And, what we would do with that money is very simple. We would get new equipment, like, more microphones for our guests, the XLR cables that connect to that microphone into our podcasting recorder, now known as the Zoom PodTrack P4. We might get more headsets and earphone headsets for our guests. And, anything more that we might need, we'll somewhere down the line, we might need a new computer, like an Apple MacBook Pro and so forth. The possibilities here are super endless here. And we really want to do the best that we can to help improve that quality of our podcast. And it is amazing. And you can sponsor us. You can donate by either going to PayPal and Venmo, and you can actually donate by entering our screen name, which is at KimHoangMDActor for both PayPal and Venmo. That's at KimHoangMDActor. Or if you have CashApp, you can donate to us on CashApp by going to donating at $KimHoangMDActor. That's once again $KimHoangMDActor. Every little bit helps. Whether if you have financial funds to donate, and I joke a lot about this, if you want to donate $5 million, that's awesome. If you can't donate that much, I definitely understand that. If you want to donate as simple as $5, hey, every little bit helps. And, the more donations and sponsorship that we have, the better the quality of our podcast will be. I can promise you that. So that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just give you the closing notes that you can actually find us on Facebook. Just go under the search bar and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. You can find me there, add me, and, I'll follow you as well as you will follow me, and it'll be amazing. We are on 2 social medias as well, such as Instagram and Twitter, now known as X. You can find us both at our handle at TKHPC Experience, all in one word, lowercase letters, no spacing. Follow me and I will follow you back. We are on a lot of platforms when it comes to our podcasting. So check us out at our podcast platforms of Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or let me repeat that one more time. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. We have YouTube Music and Audible, which is a podcasting and audiobook podcasting and a book on story online kind of a situation. So you might want to check out that platform. And if you're interested in being a member of that platform of Audible, there is a trial membership that you can try out for free for 1 week. And if you're interested and you want to become a permanent member, it is $15 a month. So, yep. Last but not least, if you guys want to go ahead and be a special guest, if you want to be a special guest host, if you have any constructive criticism, and or if you want to go ahead and interact with our Q&A, you can do so. Just go ahead and email us at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, just go ahead and enter it. Whatever you want to enter in the body of the whole email, just type it in and explain why you are here and what you want, whether if you want to be a special guest or not. And then I'll read it and I'll get back with you within like 1 or 2 days, because I love the emails and I love just contacting people, because it's proper correspondence and it's respectful. Going back real quick to our podcasting platforms, please like our podcast on all of the podcasting platforms as I mentioned. Like it, subscribe to it. Now, do me a favor. If you are a member of Spotify, please give us a 5-star ranking. If you are a member of Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star ranking and a positive written review, because the more times that you do that for each of those podcasting platforms, then our podcast will actually be in the front of the lines. You'll be able to see it a little bit better, and somebody could be like, hey, I remember when Atena was on the show and she told me that she was on this podcast show and she listens to it and she loves it. Maybe we should subscribe to it. Yes, please like and subscribe to it. Tell your friends in person about the podcast show and just spread the word out on all the social media platforms, the Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter, now known as X, Snapchat, and on TikTok. It's called brand awareness. Sharing is caring. But that's all we got, guys, and we're running out of time. We thank you so much for being with us, and it's truly been amazing. I want you to be safe out there, so please be safe out there. Don't do anything that you're not supposed to do, because if you do, you'll end up being in a pine box and get buried 6 to 10 feet under, which is exactly what we don't want you to do. We want you to be healthy and happy and live life. And we just want you to do whatever it is that makes you happy, because we think that you're worth it, and you are worth it. And anybody who says that you're not, well, you can just tell them to go ahead and kick rocks and go somewhere else, because we just don't have time for that negativity, folks. We have time for positivity. It's all about the love. It's all about the respect, and we're here to support each other. That is what we're here to do. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am out the door, and knock on wood that this episode does a good job. So for the one time, this is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, your host with the most, because I am the guy that has the voice that is the number one choice, and we're doing it right here in the Asian Sensation Studios, in our beta room, in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, saying thank you so much, arigato, and we will do it again real soon. All right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. We're out. Deuces. Peace.